You know, in the world of sports, some nicknames just click. They fit a player so perfectly that you just can't imagine calling them anything else. Today, we're going to dive into one of the all-time greats, Karl Malone, an NBA legend whose nickname really did define his entire career.
The mailman. Just think about what that really means. Rain, sleet, or snow, right? The mail shows up. It's the ultimate symbol of being incredibly, unbelievably dependable. And in professional sports, where things can change at a heartbeat, earning a nickname like that's about the highest praise for consistency you can get.
So that really brings us to the big question here. How in the world did Karl Malone, over a career that spanned almost 2 decades, become the living embodiment of dependable delivery? Well, let's get into it.
All right, so the most direct answer, the place we have to start, is with the most basic part of basketball, just putting the ball in the hoop. And Karl Malone wasn't just a scorer. He was an absolute force of nature. Just look at this number, 36,928. That is how many points Karl Malone scored in his NBA career. Seriously, let that sink in for a minute. That's not just a big number. It's proof of a long, amazing career built on just relentless night-after-night production.
And to put that number in perspective, for a very, very long time, Karl Malone was number 2 on the all-time scoring list. Only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was ahead of him. He was a permanent fixture at the top of the record books, a benchmark for scoring greatness that stood for decades.
And he got there not by having a few flashy seasons, but with 18 years of just grinding it out for one team, the Utah Jazz. What made him so special was this crazy mix of power, speed, and endurance that you just didn't see in a power forward. The guy could outrun guards down the court.
But here's something you absolutely have to understand. The mailman didn't deliver alone. His legendary consistency was cranked up to 11 by one of the greatest partnerships in the history of sports. You can't talk about Karl Malone without talking about his point guard.
And here they are. Malone was the ultimate finisher. He was the power, the guy could score whenever he wanted. And John Stockton, he was the ultimate facilitator. The guy is literally the all-time leader in assists. He always knew exactly where Malone was going to be. It was just perfect basketball chemistry. For almost 2 decades, their signature play, the pick and roll, was pretty much the most dependable weapon in the entire league. I mean, everybody knew it was coming. Stockton would use Malone's huge frame as a screen, defenders would get confused for just a split second, and boom, Malone would roll to the basket. With his speed and power, he was basically impossible to stop. Defenses knew it was coming, and they still couldn't do anything about it.
Of course, delivery is about more than just scoring points. It's about delivering when the lights are brightest, on the biggest stages, and earning the highest honors. And Malone's trophy case? Yeah, it speaks for itself.
He was named the league's most valuable player, not once, but twice. He was an all-star an incredible 14 times, and when he played for his country, he delivered 2 Olympic gold medals. The guy was a winner.
And this timeline just shows you his peak. In '92, he was a huge part of that iconic Olympic dream team. Then, in the late 90s, even with Michael Jordan playing, Malone was named the NBA's best player, twice. That's what delivering under pressure looks like.
So, we've seen the numbers, we've seen the awards. All those points, all those trophies, they weren't just about raw talent. They were built on a foundation of just unbelievable strength and consistency. But where did that come from? To really get the player, you gotta look at the person.
Long before the bright lights of the NBA, Karl Malone's life was all about hard, physical work on his family's farm down in Summerfield, Louisiana. This wasn't some fancy gym with personal trainers. This was real-world strength built from the ground up.
And that's really the whole story right there. His legendary physique, that insane endurance, his ability to take a hit and just keep on going. It wasn't just from lifting weights. It was forged by years of tough farm work, giving him a kind of old-school strength that other players just couldn't match.
After that amazing career, the Utah Jazz gave him the highest honor you can get. They retired his number 32 jersey. But true to form, Malone didn't just kick back and relax. Nope, he got into all sorts of things. Trucking, professional wrestling, you name it. Showing that same relentless drive in a bunch of new fields.
So when you boil it all down, what's the real, ultimate legacy of the mailman? Was it the points, the MVPs, the legendary partnership? Or was it just that simple, powerful idea that no matter what, day in and out, for 18 straight seasons, the mailman always delivered? It's a legacy of pure reliability that's still the benchmark in the NBA today.